All right. Also present, wishing to, in opposition, wishing to speak, Woody Jenkins, East Baton Rouge Parish Republican PEC.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to call your attention to a pass out that
Go ahead and introduce yourself for the record.
Woody Jenkins, Chairman of the Republican Party in East Baton Rouge Parish. And I think
and former state representative.
Yes, thank you very much. So I would like to call your attention to a pass-out sheet. I want to tell you that I'm troubled because this legislation messes with a very successful party, and I want to tell you about it. If you look at the first page, the front page, you'll see that in East Baton Rouge Parish we have 288,000 registered voters, only 79,000 Republicans. This is a blue parish. Over and over again, we've been told that. But if you look at the results of what our party has been able to accomplish with a lot of help from a lot of people, you'll see that we have a Republican sheriff, a Republican assessor, a Republican clerk of court, a Republican coroner. We just elected, against all odds, something people said was impossible, a new Republican mayor-president. We have a majority of the Metro Council. We have a majority of the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. We have the mayor of Central, 6 out of 7 council members in Central. We have a majority of the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. We have all of the Central School Board. We have the mayor of Zachary, and a majority, in fact, all 5 of the 5 council members in Zachary are Republicans. So we've been very successful doing it the way we're doing it. Now I want you to turn over the page, and I want to introduce you to the members of the PEC who would have their votes diluted and basically made much less meaningful. And I want you to look at this group. We're not worried about being taken over by the elected officials and somebody who's governor coming in and running for the PEC and all these scare things that have been raised. I want you to look at our members. Mayor Pro Tem Brandon Knoll, he's the Mayor Pro Tem of the city parish government, so he's the head of the legislative branch in our government, sits on our PEC. He ran and was elected. If you look on the other side, Lon Vicknair, who's the chief of staff to the Mayor President Sid Edwards, he serves on our PEC. He was elected. If you look at Jerry Bruyette, state vice chairman of the Republican Party, he ran and was elected. Cecil Kavanaugh, chairman of the Tea Parties of Louisiana, ran and was elected. Lynn Cox Graham, who has been president of Republican Women of East Baton Rouge Parish, one of the largest and oldest Republican women's groups, she ran and was elected. Jamie Pope, who is governmental affairs for Citizens for Louisiana, she ran and was elected. Scott Wilfong, who's been parliamentarian for many years of the Republican Party. And we go right through this whole list. Christy Hike, representing the National Association of Republican Assemblies. Tommy French, who was president of the Louisiana Baptist Convention. This is a very distinguished group of people. We have 56 years of legislative experience in this group. I really don't think that you should try to bother with our membership, because what's happening here is working, and if you're a Republican, you should be very, very happy with the results.
All right, thank you. I got a quick question, just because you mentioned something, I wrote it down, and you talked about diluting the vote, and you kind of said it at the same time where you were kind of, being positive about the people you helped to elect. So can you maybe comment real quick on diluting the vote with folks that you helped to put in office?
So people have their own lane. Somebody elected to the legislature is elected by all voters to be a legislator. Somebody who's elected governor is elected to be governor. We're elected to represent grassroots Republicans to run the Republican Party in the parish. The legislators weren't elected for that. The governor wasn't elected for that. We weren't elected to the legislature. Stay in your lane. People elected to run the party. Legislators run that. Now, may I say also, and I want to say this to Representative Thomas, that you have a large PAC, but they're all elected. They're all elected from districts. Nobody's appointed to your PAC. Nobody's appointed to any PAC. It's it's great that Dixon has some state elected officials in his district. They weren't elected to be on a PAC.
All right, let's go to the next question. Representative McMakin.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Jenkins, for being here today. You're elected to the RPAC and you're elected as chairman. Under this bill, would that change anything about your election to the RPAC or election as chairman?
Well, I was elected by the members in March of 2024 for a 4-year term. So I don't know what, if you have, it's a lot of people, not just 9, because now you got Metro Council, there is a Bessie member statewide. I have no idea how many people you have flooding into our PAC, and I guess they may try to take it over. I have no idea what they're going to do.
According to your bylaws, your own bylaws, when would the next election be a chair?
It would be in 4 years.
In 2028. Yeah. Okay, so you would still be elected chair. You're still elected to your position.
I don't know what they might do. They could try to change the bylaws.
You are the editor and owner of Central City News and Community Press, LLC, correct?
That's correct.
In your April 2025 edition on page 5, there's an article titled, Rep. Dixon McMakin Attempts to Take Over Republican Party of East Baton Rouge Parish. Are you the author of this article?
Yes, I am.
In this article, you write this, so I'm quoting now. Republican Parish Chairman Woody Jenkins said, quote, "This bill is undemocratic. It attempts to take away control of the local Republican Party from rank-and-file grassroots Republicans and turn it over to politicians. Rep. McMakin can't just name himself and his hand-picked cronies as officers of the Republican Party." Did you write this statement?
Absolutely,
okay.
Representative.
So when I just asked if this bill,
I explain what I just said.
You answered, no, sir.
You are naming your people, that's your cronies, to be on the PAC. It's people you've handpicked to be on the PAC, and you changed it today. Now you want to have some Metro Council members. It's ever changing. Why?
So when I just asked you if this bill changes the officers, it does not. Why do you quote yourself differently in that article that we would be changing the officers?
Well, everybody on the PAC is an officer of the party. That's who that is.
Well, there's 4 officers of the PAC as set forth in statute.
Everybody on the PAC is an officer of the party, and you are naming officers of the party of your choosing that you're putting in this bill and taking out of you took out the designees, you're adding in the Metro Council, you've got Bessie, you've got PSC, statewide officials. Why are you doing this? You've never explained. You're going to bring more credibility? I think our existing PAC has plenty of credibility right now.
Also, a crony is defined as a close friend or companion.
Yes.
So who exactly are my hand-picked cronies? Since we've established that I don't have any friends.
Buddies, that's who.
Point of order here. He would have to have friends here to be able to have those cronies.
One other thing, 2 other questions for you. The bylaws of the East Baton Rouge PAC do not set the nature and number of members of the PAC, correct?
Finish.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and read them again.
Do the bylaws of the East Baton Rouge PAC determine when meetings are held and when notifications are sent out?
They do.
And you just recently had a meeting. Did you submit to those bylaws and do that in order of your bylaws?
Yes.
So there was a 48-hour notice, and everyone was made aware of it, and the minutes were posted online?
Time limit's up. I mean, you can answer that question, but
yes, we did comply with all of that.
Thank you.
All right. The board is clear. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins, for your testimony.
Thank you.